Hello, hello. I am a very, very, very sleepy Katie today. Blah. Here we go. There are things. I hope people are okay and stuff. Hello, 2 more bits in the chat there. Hello. Turns out they're moving lots of things was a very tiring thing for a Katie. Just kind of expected, really. Anyhow, what are we on here? Oh, the music's just about to end anyway. That is good. Because we still obviously have a person to talk to that is called a Starly. Hello, Starly.
Hello, Katie.
I am very sleepy.
You might have mentioned you sound it too.
Yeah. So we're going to be looking at some Minecrafty stuff.
Yes.
Should be on the screen. There we go. That's a Minecraft. How are you doing today?
Probably more awake than you.
Probably. We're still back on the other one, aren't we?
The right one.
I am here. Oh, there is my squid friend. Hello, squid friend. But, we are going to be looking at maybe... Oh, I'm flying. Planning out something to do with the thing I was looking at anyway. What are you going to be doing today, do you know?
At the moment I'm putting a sink in the toilets.
A sink in the toilets? Good, good, good. Is that toilet singular or toilets plural?
Well,
Plural.
there's a... You could come to the park, you'll see.
Park.
Or behind the car park.
Oh, here. Oh, I see. Your building. This here. Hello.
So,
You have toilet stalls, I guess. We do have toilets in. Wow. It's a very good toilet.
it's a toilet, and then we have a sink here, and I'm going to make some mirrors to go on the other side.
Cool.
More bits.
How you do the mirrors?
With a banner. I need to remember how I've seen it in the past, but we're going to work it out.
Cool. Got some sinks and other stuff. That is neat. Oops. Oh gosh, yeah. Of course, it is a bit of a grey box of outside. Is it going to be decorated a bit more?
A little bit,
Yeah.
but I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to decorate it yet, so I've left it for now.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's look good over here, and so with the mini golf thing, obviously, I have not done anything since I last did things. But it's kind of like what needs to be done with mini golf. We need to figure out how to do mini golf courses. Is a thing. I was kind of wondering, because I'm still in like experimenting with things kind of phase of this. So if I take this, because the idea was just to kind of throw them down, which is my throw button. That is not my throw button. There we go. That is my throw button. So if you throw it onto these ones here, as long as you actually throw it onto the thing to start off with, it'll go, a reasonable distance. Was that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? So what happens if it hits a wall? Does it bounce back? Actually throw it on the thing. Does it bounce back? No, it just runs into the wall. So that's a thing that needs to be considered here. I was imagining it would bounce.
Yeah, the way Minecraft, I'm going to say physics with inverted commas, works is a little odd sometimes.
Okay, well let me see how we go. Does it still carry on skimming down the wall like this? It seems to. Let me try something else here. If we do that, then we throw... I can just throw this object. Yeah, it skims along the wall still a bit. Kind of half wondering if it'll go around the corner. I doubt it will, but let's see. Yeah, it just carries on in a straight line from there. So, yeah, this is all just a ice freeway. I don't know what that is or what that refers to. But
Free snowmen are very good friends.
Who?
Well, free snowmen are very good friends.
Free snowmen. I have a bit of one here. What do we do with the thing? But yeah, we got to think of how good things work. Because what I'll do is I'll find stuff. If I go to the browser here, once I make sure it actually is looking at the browser, there is it. Here, I've looked up some pictures of some mini golf obstacles here. Quite a lot of them are like very flat, which is useful for what we've got here. But then other ones of them kind of like we wouldn't be able to do, like this loop here. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I can see it.
There's a loop, there's like a ramp here. We can have things going down ramps, we can't have things going up ramps.
Not this, no.
No. And there are, things like this, whatever thing over here. This is just surprising, really. It just goes everywhere. But yeah, these things, these twisty things, we definitely can't do. Things which mean that they have to bounce off in different directions and things we can't really do. I'm always looking at other things here, it doesn't seem to have come up. Oh yeah, these kind of weird bendy thingies we can't do either.
Oh, I didn't catch that bit, it kind of faded.
These weird bendy kind of things, can you see on the screen?
Oh, yeah.
But also, I did see somewhere else. But anyway, there's like this hill, and I can't find it anymore. This is a bit of a sloped one as well. We got little things to go through. We can't do that really, but we could do. We could kind of maybe do things.
I don't know if it's happening on a stream or if it's just through Discord.
What's that?
It's fading in and out.
It might be a Discord thing, because if people could say whether it's like static on the stream and such like that? Because I did do a check on the Discord. Let me just do it again. Hang on. Because if I put the let's check, and if I talk here, it kind of does kind of cook it in and out a bit. Is it like this on your end, Starly? Obviously, you have to let me know when I can hear you. But I can change it to like an automatic sensitivity thing. And if I turn it down, maybe it'll pick up more. But I think maybe that's going the wrong way. Maybe this is where it needs to be. I don't know. It's confusing. How is that? Is this any better or worse or what?
I can't tell. Just keep talking for a bit, and I'll let you know, because it's more that you fade out than.
Okay, well, I suppose you didn't really hear it when it was on the stream, because you would have had that silenced, wouldn't you?
I've got the stream on mute.
Yeah.
Obvious reasons.
Yeah. But yeah, here's a few ideas of what we could do here. We go up to the top. And also you've got to do a windmill, because that's like necessary. You think it's better now? My woman says they thinks it's better now, but
Yeah, that's good.
We'll have to see.
See how it goes.
Yeah. I was wanting to do a test of a thing. So let me pop back over to the Minecraft here. Yeah, currently I'm just kind of got a slightly different setup to what I usually would have, being that I'm now currently like just on my bed because I just don't have that much energy to do things. But I wanted to test, how am I going to do this? Let me do this. What I'll need is something like this, and build some walls up around the outside like this, and make sure it's going to be a problem of some kind. No, wait a minute. No, I don't want to do that. If I plop that down, I don't know if this is really going to work. Yeah, because this isn't going to work like this. Let me see. If I throw this into here, I mean, I think it will just drag the thing. Yeah, it'll obviously move the thing along, but it won't pop it up. As I was thinking. But let me see. Because what we can do here is do stuff like soul sand and that. But,
yeah.
I mean, sorry, I'm trying to do thinking, and obviously I don't have a lot of brain to do thinking with at the moment.
Yeah, I think you picked quite a difficult thing to do, but you're getting there.
Let me see. Actually, I think I have an idea. We put that down there, and it has the glass at the bottom like this. We need to punch out a few more things. Like so. Put a sign here. And then we could put that there. And if we drop a thing into here, like this, it'll go down there. Will it pop up on the other end? No, it just kind of bobs up and down.
Yeah.
Though I'm building everything out of ice at the moment. Though that then goes there. I think maybe this should work. We throw that into there. It goes poop, flies out the top, but moves along as well.
Yep.
Which is good. Oh, no, sign, please. And then if we move some other things, like behind it. Oops. Like this. If we then throw a thing into here, bloop, goes pointing out the top and slides along. So there is ways to do some kind of like going up things. Oops, no, that's the wrong thing. Might want to like be built out of glass instead, so you can kind of see what's going on.
Yeah.
Oops. Okay. So there you can kind of see that the thing would come up over here and then eject out of here. So yeah, instead of having like pipes and slopes and things to like make the ball do different things, you could have things like this instead.
Yeah. Seems to work.
Yeah. Alright, it takes kind of a bit of thinking to do things. But let's have a look at some of the pictures again. So I can get an idea. So if he's making like characters and things like this octopus or like a windmill is not too difficult. I think the thing with the windmills though is that the things are supposed to turn round, aren't they?
Yeah, but I have seen people do that in Minecraft, but it's with command blocks and very complicated. But I think you can have one that's just there for aesthetics.
Yeah, an aesthetic windmill. Be good. I mean, there are ways to make things that kind of turn around and such like that. Maybe that could be like a separate thing instead.
Yeah.
Because... Sorry, what do you think? Your things are far too complicated for me to think of at the moment. Let me see. Because yeah, the water thing would definitely help with some of these things, like having little bridgey things like this. I mean, you could just do this with, like, instead of them being bridges, you could have them with just tunnels, really. But then obviously, if you have a tunnel and then you lose the ball in the tunnel, you go, oh no, my ball.
Yeah.
Lost in the tunnel. And a lot of these things, sorry.
What's saying now?
A lot of these things have to do with, like, actual physics and stuff like that, so you gotta hit the ball harder. I mean, there's no hitting the ball harder, really, with this, is there?
No.
Look at this. Yeah, it'd be more about angles and precision and things like that. So I mean, something like this could kind of work. I mean, obviously, the part of it is if you hit the sides here, it'll ping off at a different angle, and that's kind of where the difficulty. That's kind of the difficulty, but maybe not with this is. But I mean, so I'm trying to have a think of a thing now. Let's go back to a Minecraft and try and see if I can do something like this. Let's make things. I don't know. What do I want? I want something like this. And then I don't think. Oh gosh. Things will have to be built up a bit as well.
Yeah.
People can kind of maybe have guesses at what I'm doing at the moment. And then I can try and see if I can actually do what I'm trying to do. Okay, so if I do this and that, hope. I keep writing on the signs when I just want to put them down. And then this can go over here. And we're going to need signs over here. And over here. Like this. And then let's see if this will work. I mean, that should work. So if I just put something down to stand on. Let me check now. Okay. And then over that way. Bloop, it goes over that way. I've lost it in the grass.
Dear.
Can you see that?
I didn't say I was doing something.
Okay, so if you're either here or looking on the screen or whatever at the moment.
I'm looking at the screen.
Okay, so you can see we have a thing with like 2 ways to go or whatever. And then if you could like throw the ball at it, it kind of like, oh. You get stuck when it goes right in the middle. But if it goes to like the sides, it'll go off to the side and that.
Ah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. However, it does get stuck in the middle apparently. I was thinking maybe it would pick one of the ways to go, but
Yeah.
apparently not. But yeah, if you get it kind of off center, then it does that. How far back can this go? Because obviously part of it is down to accuracy, and if you can, well, you can kind of see where you're aiming with the whole reticle thing, can't you?
Mm.
So it's not necessarily, unless you do the turning the heads-up thing off. So if I do that and I don't have any little crosshairs, then it might make it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. The crosshairs are always going to make things
So
easier.
like, I want it to go over that way. Yeah, there we go. I still think it doesn't make it terribly hard, but that is
It's a good start.
yeah. I mean, maybe instead it can kind of have like a bit of a diagonal to it or something like that.
Yeah.
So maybe you can start over here and you have to aim it. And maybe the favourable way is the way to go back, and that's like maybe a harder way to get it. Let's see. Yeah. Oh no, it's going to get caught up. Yeah, or doesn't go far enough. I don't know if it goes far enough. It might go far enough. No, it didn't quite go far enough. I know it got. Oh, I think it kind of got in the water stream there, but not quite. Let's see. Let's set this up here. So yeah, that gets swept over there then. So I suppose you got to get it at an angle where it's kind of trickier to get it to go back on itself, especially since you got this. Hang on, let me try and sort that out as well. And see. Ah! No, I used the ender pearl instead of.
You see where you end up.
Yeah. Let's throw that there then, and that. Yeah. So obviously putting it at an angle makes it more difficult to get it. To go backwards if you can. But if you throw it too close, it might hit the edge. Yeah, hit the edge there instead. And it did do. Oh, it can't. Yeah, it didn't quite do the bounce off the edge. It more did a stop in the one direction, just carry on in the other. So yeah, might need some fine tuning to figure out what the best setup for it is. But where's that going to go? Still forward. Yeah, so maybe that's what makes it a little bit more difficult, as long as there is a way to have it go backwards. That kind of thing can work, I think.
Yeah.
Also, oh gosh. A thing that could be done is, let's build up a little bit. Oops. I'm thinking, just have like half a thought about how this might be able to work.
Half thought's better than no thought.
Yeah. Ooh. You kind of got an achievement.
Did, lo and behold, because I used glow squid ink.
Yeah. Is everybody else on your side a little busy today?
They're both out today. See what they're doing, but I have to kill you.
Is it for the mystery thing that we were that Stars was doing before?
They're doing it all weekend.
So yeah, I mean, I suppose you can this can be kind of things where it's like, where do I actually shoot it? I can't see anything from here. And so you can shoot it off in a direction. Oh. This doesn't work the way I wanted it to.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't keep sliding quite as far as it should, really. Because obviously it would slide quite a distance on there on its own. But this doesn't really work. I thought this would.
This is the problem with stuff like that. It's kind of hard to judge if it's going to work or not sometimes.
Yeah. Well, that needs another plan there instead. I did have another idea. All these chickens wandering around made me think. Running into my own thing there. Because obviously, this Minecraft mini golf doesn't have to be exactly like real mini golf.
No, I mean, a lot about Minecraft is creating the idea of something rather than actually creating the thing.
Yeah. Punch out some things here. Punchy, punchy, punchy. And then do this. And then another thing in there. Oh. And then I need... Yeah, chickens. So now... Oh.
I'm very confused.
Animals tend to like the edges of things, don't they?
Aren't they?
yeah, the idea was to try and get it through a thing, and then you kind of like throw. Oops, no, that's the wrong one. A thing down. It's like, does it run into the? I don't think it runs into them. So the big problem here, though, is that they keep moving to the edges. Yeah, I think this doesn't work the way I was expecting it to. I'd say it's hard to tell because, yeah, it looks like the things just go straight through the animals.
Yeah.
I mean, that could be used as an idea, but right. I want to check a thing here. Let me. No, please, chickens. Oh. No, they can walk underneath that.
Like trapdoors.
Trapdoors. I was wondering if that would still work with the oh dear. The ice.
That's the only way to find out is to test it.
Yeah. Oh, no, they can still walk over the trapdoors, though.
Okay, I thought they were a little bit higher, so they might work.
Oh dear. What have I got for? Bigger ones. Can you hear people making noise outside?
Can't hear anything, but
That's okay. So I think the cows would be a bit too big to go through, whereas the chickens can.
yeah.
Yeah, I think the eggs and other thrown items do go through the cows still. So you kind of set it up as this is the cows are in the way of you seeing where you have to shoot your ball or something. Yeah. I just need to kind of check anything. I said I don't know if you could hear the noise or whatever outside at the moment.
Still can't hear anything, so I doubt anyone else can.
Yeah. I don't know if somebody's had a bit of a bump in their car or something out there.
Yeah, I hope they're okay.
But there's a lot of people shouting at each other outside.
That doesn't tell us anything, does it?
Not really, no.
Or like shouting at each other in situations like this.
But let us see. Oh gosh, I've fallen down into the thing. But yeah, there's some idea in this, I think. I don't have 100% of an idea of what it actually is, though. Though the chickens weren't very helpful in that matter. But yeah, oh gosh, I keep falling into the pit. I mean, nice safe hole. But yeah, so with the whole Minecraft animals and whatever behaviour, they tend to seem to like to gather around the edges of things.
Yeah, that is weird.
It's just the way they like to be. Oh gosh. What else could we possibly do here? Let's have a look and see through our browser what might be possible. Yeah, I mean, the problem, as I said, since... Well, no, I suppose with real life, the balls wouldn't get stuck in the tunnels, otherwise you wouldn't be able to get to them.
Yeah.
So what you would be doing is you know, you could use little water streams in the tunnels to make sure the ball gets out properly.
Yeah.
I just want to do a bit of a test of that myself, just to make sure that what I think works actually does work. Because as we found out already, that's not necessarily always the case.
It's the thing with Minecraft, it's like, this thing will logically work, tries it out.
Yeah.
This thing does not logically work.
Yeah.
It's like when we tried to explain to Bunny about Minecraft Water. If you've never used Minecraft Water,
Yeah.
really hard to get your head round.
Yeah, it's I mean, it kind of makes logical sense, but not physically logical sense, you know.
It makes Minecraft logical sense.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it follows logic because it's a computer program, and so it has to follow logic.
Fortune logic, unless you know the logic, doesn't work for work things out as a human.
Yeah. So that would go there. That would go in there. And how far does it go? Yeah, it goes to about there. So you can arrange things so they just kind of carry on. But I think you have to set them up in a certain way so they can't, or the water can't flow back on itself.
Yeah.
Which stops these things from working. Hang on, I need to put the water down. So that would kind of extend it to here, and then out to here. And along. So it should work fine. I mean, but it depends on whether I've understood the Minecraft principles I've seen other people applying.
Fingers crossed.
Yeah. So that would go that way. And there. So then if we threw like this glass into there, throw it far enough. Gosh, hang on, we put some ice down there so that'll help. We throw the ice into there, and it goes zoom, and it should end up over here. There we go. So yeah, if you make like tunnels and pipes and things like that, those work pretty easily.
I need to ask Stars to put the armor stand pack on this one.
Okay, yeah, As I said, I usually watch these back, so I should be able to do that when I... They're laying eggs already. Oh, gosh. I don't know if we can use that. Though, I have had a thought. Right. Let me see. How do you get, like, stacks of things? There we go. Having a thought here. Is this one? So is that going to dispense a chicken? Let me try. It's probably going to dispense a chicken. Yeah, it does throw the eggs, that one does, so I think rather than dispense, I need a dropper. Then I don't know if this will give it enough oomph, you know.
Yeah.
Let me pop that on. Oh no. Pop that on there. I got it. Grab the eggs. Pop them in here. And then it does throw them out. Interesting. So if I build up a kind of a lane here, let me see. This does work.
That's good.
Yeah. Dropper doesn't drop. I mean, dispenser doesn't. Dispenser just fires them, but this will. Oh, they go off at different angles as well. Interesting. That is interesting, actually. I think this needs more brain than I'm thinking of at the moment, or I'm able to. More brain than I'm able to use at the moment. But this could add a slight element of randomness into things. You know, because I said so if you get down to skill, but if it was just skill, you say you crosshairs, and that makes it a bit too easy in some regards. Whereas, let's just get like, no, that's not how you do it. No, that's how you do it. So like dump, wrong thing. Dump a load of things into here. They'll go into the hopper like this. Actually, does it kind of give it a random kind of... I'll have to test that, but then if you like flick the switch here, it'll like fire off a bunch of them. And eggs. Of course. So we've done a bunch of them. We fly over the top. Yeah, they've kind of got at different... ended up at different places. So that's something interesting which could be used, I think, as well.
Yeah.
But what I was just wanting to check, let's do it along here. Oops. Like this. Okay, it seems like a tiny bit of randomness to your throw.
Yeah.
Not as much of a deviation as the other in that, but I think part of the problem was they were kind of clumping up together as well. Let me try spreading it out a little bit more, and then just throwing it not directly one after the other. But this seems to be more consistent. No, hang on, that one. Well, they kind of. It's difficult to tell because they clump together, but it does seem like they don't all go exactly the same way. Excuse me, because if you look at that,
You seem to have some variation.
yeah. So obviously, if I did, I mean, how far is that? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. It's managed to go. And this distance here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Around about the same. So, let's just see. There is variation here. Some of them have got stuck in the middle, though. That was kind of expected, I think. 12 of them got stuck in the middle over here. Some more ended up over here. But 6 of them ended up over here. And then some more. Okay, about 11 of them ended up over here. So yeah, there is some randomization here. I said the biggest problem is them getting stuck in the middle, really.
Yeah. Don't know if there's a way to avoid that.
We'll have to think on it, I think. Yeah, I mean, this is some of the problem with Minecraft water. It looks like it's flowing here.
Secretly not.
Well, it's kind of going here, but Yeah, I mean, throwing from here. They're not getting stuck.
Above water. It's wild.
Yeah. Oh, they went a bit further. But doing it further away, they are getting stuck.
Don't know what to suggest.
No. But then again, when I did them just then, they didn't.
You're just being difficult, Katie.
This water, huh? Cause that, yeah, that one.
I have no idea what to suggest.
No. Oh dear.
I've just bugged this up.
Dear. But yes, this is my experiments land at the moment rather than the actual golf course thing. But let's see. I'm wanting to do a thing. It's probably easier. I don't know.
Oh dear, sorry.
That's alright.
The reason I'm very yawny today despite having a lot of sleep last night.
I was going to be upset at people being tired then, you know.
Be a bit hypocritical.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a lot of sleep as well. Hello, Chaos.
Yo, Chaos.
How are you doing today? I hope you're a little bit more awake than the rest of us, Chaos. You feel great. That is good to hear.
Please.
Now, how does Katie feel about her redstone skills? Problem is, I don't really know how these things work. Maybe I should make this a little bit smaller. Yeah, I haven't really did much of an introduction today, did I, and stuff like that, really.
No, not massively.
Yeah, we're looking at the golf thingy, Chaos. So basically, I moved a bunch of stuff, as if you watched on Friday, you would know I moved a bunch of stuff around. And, after that, I'm quite tired, Katie.
I'm slightly more awake, but then I did also have 11 hours sleep last night.
Yeah, this is not going to work. These need to be timed properly. Oh gosh. I mean, I'm sure if I say to you, Starly, piston feed tape, you'd understand what I meant.
I do. Don't ask me how you do it.
Yeah. Well, there's no way to get access to the server unless and we add you and stuff like that, is there?
This technically the Stars server.
Yeah, this one is.
But you can speak to Stars. I'm Sure, as long as you behave, you're allowed to come visit.
Gosh, how do these work? You don't have the corners, do you? Because that wouldn't make sense. I think. Then you have to have something to push along. Oh dear. Yeah, I mean, we are going to let cows visit at one point.
It's true.
Hang on. But yeah, it's not really an open server or anything like that. It's just kind of, well, it basically started off as my server, but then apparently, well, no, not apparently, but I can't do anything on it at the moment because, things are being worked on, aren't they?
Yes, you can't go on your server right now. I've not been able to do it much recently for obvious reasons, but we're getting there.
Yeah.
Your build's finished now.
I do not know what that is. More bits. And then that will push that around, and we'll just basically be doing this over and over again. It's an album, okay. So yeah, but you gotta do this, but automatically. Which is where the problems really lie. So, I mean, if I still trigger it by one of these, it would have to be delayed somewhat before getting to the next one. Though I don't know how much it needs to be delayed. I guess we'll find out. How does this work? I want to get a better angle on it if I can. Oh. So that doesn't work. Ah, dear.
Should take a break and come look at the new shop I've just built.
No, that's the wrong thing. I am just doing a quick test of a thing.
So, did you actually hear what I just said?
You're doing a thing, you're saying I should look at what you're doing.
So I'm checking you actually heard it, because I
Yeah.
don't always hear what I say.
Yeah, so this works. So where are you?
By the map is probably the easiest way to say it.
Oh, right, the map. I see. Yeah, sorry if the audio quality is not terribly good at the moment. I'm currently on my bed because I have very little energy, and the microphone is obviously not in the microphone stand it usually is. Ah, I see a Starly.
The new shop, can you see what it says on the front of it?
Oh, hang on. It says KRB.
Yeah. Katie Rosine Boutique.
Wow. Hang on. More bits. Permit.
So you change the carpet to
Bits.
purple,
Okay. You should hopefully be able to post a link now. More bits, as long as you do it in the next minute, I think it is. There we go. Oh, it's Metallica. There we go. Excuse me. Sorry, I was distracted by letting Morbits post a link. What were you saying?
I'm going to change the carpet on the inside to purple.
That does make some sense for me.
I'm going to do it in magenta.
Well, yeah, it is a rosine, I suppose. What would it sell in here then?
I thought it would be like a boutique to sell some clothing or something.
Morbitz is asking a question.
Does KR stand for? I don't know, Katie Rosine. Do you have any idea what KR stands for?
I'm not sure, hang on. There we go. Is this a good, like, to do an advert for it? Come down to the Katie Rosine boutique for all your, yes, me. Katie Rosine needs, I don't know, I suppose I've got my outfit that I'm currently wearing.
We'll have clothes soon. There you go, that's your, what's it called? Image for your YouTube thing.
Yeah, oh, you fell down.
It's kind of hollow underneath.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of usually wait, because, I mean, you've used YouTube to upload things, haven't you, Starly? So, you know, they usually give you, like, 3 pictures.
They're always awful for me.
Yeah, so I normally pick one of those 3, because obviously... Sorry?
I made my own when I did it, because all the options it was giving me were terrible.
Yeah, it just takes a little bit more effort, and sometimes it's like, oh no, that one's actually perfect.
I also did this shop over here now.
Ooh. Apparently we could also have a KD store for Chaos's Donuts.
Chaos, do you want a donut shop? Because I can make you a donut shop.
It's one of those crystals and candles stores, isn't it?
I've got the Armstrong pack on, I can add some more bits and pieces, but I thought this looked appropriately.
It's a candle. See, some more candles. There's some more candles.
The first question is, what's the Morbits shop? I'll have to make a Morbits one.
Yeah.
Any ideas for shops that should be seaside shops are good. And we've got a newspaper stand.
Oh, cool. You don't have any news at the moment, though.
No. I've changed the toilet to brick, but I've still got to decorate it a bit more, but at least it's now.
Yeah.
The grey box. It's got some bushes.
I mean, grey box suited the whole toilets kind of thing, really, but...
Yeah, but I kind of thought about the ones I had been, especially with seaside towns, they tend to be like Victorian-ish.
Right.
So I thought a more Victorian thing would be brick.
Righto.
Yeah, I did a bush too, which is nice.
They're very good ones. So those the azaleas, aren't they?
Yeah. Then if you look up here,
where
let's
are we?
go in the house.
Oh, in here.
But if you want to live fruit from the ground, you walk up these stairs. Go this way. That's your little open planned apartment flat thing for holiday goers to stay in.
It's very good. Got a little kitchen area here. Right by the door, so if you get anything catch on fire, you can go, and just throw it out there.
Always good.
Yeah.
But like, huge TV.
Yeah.
A parent's bedroom and the kid's bedroom.
Very open plan, as you say.
It's a holiday apartment. You don't need it to be too closed off. That's the toilet.
Yeah.
Much space for toilet and sink, but I just about managed it.
Just about. They're very nice in here.
I thought it would do as like a nice little holiday apartment with the world's biggest TV.
Yeah, very, very, very big TV. We still haven't got other ones, but
Not yet.
that's okay.
I then decided I was going to do a new secure store. Speaking of which,
I lost you.
Add it. Right on that. I'm updating them. Go. Shop's now on the map.
Cool. I think the my workings out for the golf course aren't on. Well, a bit of it is, but not what I've been doing today.
Yeah,
because obviously you need to take it off to put it back
not
on.
been, yeah, I've not been updating your bit, to be honest, yet.
It's okay. It's a bit of a mess at the moment.
Whole selection of buildings here.
There is less hill there than there was.
Significantly less hill. Yeah.
Yeah, there's still some hill.
Can't update it from here. I'd have to go all the way if I'm not
That's
doing that
okay.
now.
That's fine. I mean, I could have been taking down this bit of the hill today, but I thought people would not appreciate it so much.
So I realised I haven't got the whole thing in there. That's better.
Sorry?
Realised I hadn't got the whole of your shop in. It's now bigger.
Ah, cool. Did I
So
own a
trying to do-
PlayStation? I didn't own a PlayStation myself. My brother, however, did. This is not working. Apparently,
The next shop on is going to be Chaos's Donuts, right?
Yeah. Chaos, what donuts would you have in your donut shop?
I feel it would be slightly spooky.
I watched my brother play Final Fantasy VII. Oh, gosh. Okay, this does work. I thought it might get stuck and break things, but no, it didn't get stuck and break things. It actually worked. Which is good. Yeah, I didn't have, well, so I didn't have a PlayStation myself, but as I said, my brother did. Costa Dallas. I don't know. What I remember most from 7 is gosh, they had like a games area thing. Beach resort. No, I don't remember that. We'll need to put in some repeaters.
Morbits has a good idea.
What is that?
Running if Morbits had any good idea. Morbits was asking if they had a good idea. Waiting to hear what Morbits shop's going to have.
This did not work.
Maybe it could be Morbits Arcade. Arcade and Fun Complex.
Why is this one not triggering? Surely that should be triggering. Oh, it's because this is still stuck out, isn't it? Morbid says they would have a computer shop.
We have a computer shop. Not really the most seaside-y thing, but we can work it out.
Or retro magazine. Yeah, it's not very seaside-y, but
I think just like a retro shop we could have.
maybe. So Katie needs to remember how to do this kind of thing. I think this is the way you would do it. And then you need a lever. No, that's jammed it. Oh, hello, DJ MB.
Hello!
I haven't seen you around for a little while, I don't think. I hope you're doing well.
So NB was streaming the other day, but it was in the evening and I was too sleepy to watch, and I'm a bit sad about it. It's nice to see NB here today.
Well, this is kind of working. I might need to put some more delays on things. So here we go. I don't know if this is optimal, but it's working. What do you think of this?
Very confused, but it looks cool.
Yeah.
Well, no, but I've just worked out what you're planning to do. Bob.
Yeah, we can't quite do a windmill, but
do something close.
Yeah. Thank you very much, MB. This is our golf place. Oh, this is a beach resort, but this is like me testing out some mini golf ideas.
So realised so far I've only got one hotel. We might have to make at least a few more.
Right, that can go in the middle there as well. I'm kind of wondering. By the way, NB, you haven't been around for a little bit. I've been wanting to try and ask you about, because obviously you expressed an interest to want to join along and do things, but obviously we haven't been able to see you for a while to really ask whether you would still want to. Doesn't seem to work as well as I would want. Yeah, the piston's pushing it. Oh gosh. Yeah, the piston pushing it stops it dead in its tracks, unfortunately. But I did get to the other side. Yeah, I did get to the other side, but I think it's not a very consistent thing. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you were saying that, obviously, when the new update came out that you were interested, but obviously it's, yeah, kind of, it's not consistent of where it goes, unfortunately. Oh, there's a thing happened. I don't have anything set up which I usually would have set up, because I'm only working off one screen at the moment. I had a follow, apparently. If it's a real follow, thank you for the follow. If it's a bot follow, well, that's kind of thing that's been happening nowadays. Apparently it might have been a real follow. Thank you very much for following.
When we start a new one, well, hopefully me and Wes are going to finish off the one on Kate's server soon, and then we'll probably start a new one, because this one's more like a side project.
Yeah. You are a real person. Hello. You didn't. That's the thing. I don't want to have to force people to say they're real people or not, but it's been hard to tell recently because there's been like a plague of bots around and stuff like that. But yeah, so I normally do Minecraft on Sundays and such like that.
Oh, thank you, Andy. Yeah, no, I was going to watch, but I've been quite ill the last month or so, and I'm not really very awake at most of the time. The only reason I'm awake right now is I slept about 11 hours last night.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, yeah, it's not much of a guarantee. I mean, I slept about 12 hours last night, but oh dear, this is not going to work too well with other things here, is it? And I'm still very sleepy. But Katie is usually a very sleepy person, so...
In your nature.
It is. And that's... it's going to stick on that as well, isn't it? Gosh, everything's going to stick on everything. But yeah, when we start up something new, yeah, it's got stuck on here, hasn't it? No? The piston stopped. Oh, the piston... What's gone on? Is this broken it? I think this has broken it somehow. I don't know how. What did I get wrong? I don't think this is going to work.
Don't push slime box, I don't think.
They just don't push Slimebox at all.
I'm not. It's weird. It's like Slimebox and Honeybox. I'm not going to pretend to understand. I don't have enough energy to take it.
The piston is out of place, I think, because it got pushed along or dragged along or something.
NB, while you're here, do you like a shop in our seaside resort? And if so, what kind of shop would you like? Apparently I'm making everyone shops.
So the big problem that that's going to be having here is, these aren't going to push, are they? Because this isn't going to push this, because all this slime is attached to all the rest of this stuff now.
You kind of shop, it's up to you. But ideally one that would be like suitable for the seaside. Doing more bits of vintage computers and comic shop. Chaos has apparently got a donut shop. He's got a boutique. Need to make Stars a garage.
Oh, it's probably got stuck on that as well. Tough question. Starly asks the tough questions.
Do I ask all the hard questions?
Oh dear.
Fair, any good budget seaside town has somewhere to buy weed, but it's not usually a shop.
I don't think this is going to work. Which is kind of a shame. Yeah, there is that. That's part of the problem, that they are sticking to each other, isn't it? Sorry, I'm just... and it dragged the piston along as well. I'm not sure if this is going to work. Yeah, I don't know if I can do alternating honey and slime, because... Actually, what don't honey and slime stick to? Was it terracotta, isn't it? Those can be pushed around, right?
I don't remember. I've got to plug my laptop in.
Oh dear.
What's your name for the shop, More Bits?
Wait a minute, it's working.
More Bits, I love it. That's the next shop, I think.
So the idea is to stick things on top of these. Will that work? That would. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be helpful to build an obstacle with, but I've built this thing. And apparently you can stand on it and, it just spins beneath you. Thank you, Chaos. Thank you, Amy. Apparently you can just stand on this and it just doesn't affect you.
Hey, Chaos, fun fact, you've now got a donut shop.
Though apparently you can fall off and then it can push you around.
More Bits said you needed a donut shop.
As I, if I remember correctly, after watching or looking things up, More Bits, the ST actually stood for 1632, if I remember correctly. See, if you stand right on the corner of two of them here, you can just... Apparently so, yeah. Because there are some 16 and 32-bit things to it, I think it was. But yeah, if you just go
Donut shop, to be fair.
slightly off, it'll be no. But yeah, I was hoping to make this into some kind of obstacle, though. I'm not quite sure how it would work. Don't eat what you sell, indeed. Oh dear. We already found out that the ice blocks don't really work too well. But I got a piston feedate thing working with honey and slime. So that's that thing. Yeah, let me just stop the clock from going just so it doesn't distract. Yeah. But let me just do a demonstration. Oh gosh, let me fly first. Let me do a demonstration of some of the things I was thinking of. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. This is like a mini golf, and the mini golf idea, if people haven't seen, is that you kind of like throw things and they go skidding across the ice like this. And then you can like see where they land and then start from here and like throw things again. And if you put carpet over ice, it can make you slide around or make things slide around over it. And so what I've got here is I've got a hole here. So if you start from here, you can get a hole in one from here. Let's see if I can try and get it. And then can I get it? Oh no, but they stop there, and so what you'd have to do is stand here and then make the shot. You get ding, and it lights up the thing because it's got like a repeater and whatever, or a comparator underneath there. And so I was trying to figure out today some other things that we could do with this. And so I've got a thing here which is, if you throw it at here, it should. Well, sometimes it gets stuck in the middle, which I know I want to try and figure out a way for it to not to do that, but you know, Minecraft physics and that. But you can throw it to the side as well. These are more possibilities. Yeah, we could certainly do that, Chaos. Oh dear. If you do throw it into the side and it works properly, it gets swept off that way, or if you throw it into the other one, it gets swept off that way. But unfortunately, if you pop it in the middle, it does have a bit of a problem.
More bits. What's your favourite colour? Mm-hmm. Also, Katie, if you're free, you should come over here and look at Chaos's donut shop.
Yeah. So I got that. I also figured out that we can oh gosh, that's the wrong thing to do. We could do this. Obviously, they go in the hopper and whatever, and then if we fire off the dropper here, it actually will shoot things across there as well. It says it a little bit more randomly. Apparently you have 1 minute, but I don't know 1 minute for what. Or is that just for me? Yeah, I'll be testing a thing.
No, I asked Morbid's their favourite colour, but I don't know if it takes the whole minute to decide a favourite colour. If it does.
So yeah, you throw things down here, it kind of goes through the pipe here and ends up somewhere else. We could do that. I always try to do a test of the thing with whether things would hit animals and stuff, but it doesn't hit animals, it just goes through animals. So we can't use the animals as obstacles, though we can use them as like obstructions, so you can't see where you're supposed to be aiming. But it will actually just go, if I throw it right, it will go just like straight through the animals. Oh gosh, even though you can't. And yeah, unfortunately, the stairs don't work the way I wanted them to. Because obviously, as you see, if you like throw things here, they skim across quite a large distance and whatever, and it will fall off the edge here if it reaches it. But if you throw it from like here, oh gosh, it doesn't go as far when it falls down things, which is a shame, really. There's possibly like ways to do it and whatever, but I think maybe it'll have to be like a thing like this instead. With some water like here, that somehow it would not have to not get caught. Yeah. Oh, there we go. That kind of worked. So yeah, that kind of worked to be like a downhill kind of thing. But yeah, and also I was thinking, like last time, you could have like obstacles. Oh, it's grown over. They grow over blank spaces, apparently. Okay, but you can throw things through hoops, things like that, and stuff like that. Yeah, so to put those ideas together. So we're going to like the shopping place, are we, Starly?
It's next door to your boutique.
My boutique. Into the
Don't shop
nether. Wow, that might work. So here's my boutique. Did I have 2 sets of doors in the first place?
2 sets of doors.
Hang on, let me do my advertisement. Or whatever. Welcome to the Katie Rosine Boutique. I hope you enjoy your stay, and I hope you buy lots of things. There we go. That's good, isn't it? So boutique is not got anything in at the moment, but apparently we got is Chaos's Donuts here. Yeah.
Store.
Chaos's Donuts. We have Spooky Pumpkin at the front. Ooh, this is fancy. You have places where you can sit to eat your donuts. Nice and spooky, yeah. Good pumpkins over here.
It's got to make out something. It's got to be spooky.
There's all these donuts you can buy. And then the person sits like, do you want like an orange donut? A purple donut? A frosted donut? Or our special spooky slime donut?
Make sure there's at least one purple donut.
Yeah, it's good. There we go. Are you doing something else at the moment, are you?
Just cutting down some trees because I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do for... I've decided what I'm doing for NB because I feel like I can't really give NB in shop, but I can have NB Alley. But I'm working out currently what I'm going to do for a retro 8-bit shop.
Yeah. Well, you know how you
Knowing
get,
that I don't have armor stands.
Yeah, you know how you get like arcades at the beach? Maybe
I'm planning to do an arcade.
Maybe it could be like 8-bit arcade or something like that.
It's a good idea.
But yeah, I'm not sure how to make this into an obstacle very easily. Yeah. I mean, I think if I put something in the middle here, it would just break it, wouldn't it? Well, actually, it might not.
My brain turns off whenever redstone is involved, so I can't really help.
It's okay. Well, we start this off. If we put this down, yeah, that's fine in the middle. But the problem is, it doesn't really work so well. Let's put this back here. Oh gosh, I keep punching holes in the ground. I need my
Else we blatantly still have arcades at the beach in this country. It's like I've been to one.
Yeah, they're not quite exactly the same as they were.
Come on, there, right?
Because they have like people have video games consoles now. Start up the clock again. Put this down. See, this is... Oh. Of course it won't stick to the terracotta, will it? That's okay. But it doesn't work anyway, so it's fine. And this... Yeah, I can't put a thing down here. No, I don't want to do that. Oh, no, I broke it. Hang on. Put that back there. There we go. Sort it out. Because, yeah, unfortunately, if you do throw anything down onto like here, well, obviously it'll do that, but sometimes it'll go over, other times it won't, because I think it needs the blocks obviously to be more in their solid phase to make them move and slide over. Oh gosh, maybe that can be part of the thing though. Oop, and that's going to fall down there. Bye bye ball. Yeah, this is the big problem with this idea, unfortunately. Because the blocks move, it kind of like stops the things. Oh gosh, that one got shunted across. Maybe if there's only an intermittent thing, it might work. I'd have to make a slower clock though. Hang on. Can I? Oh no, froze it. I froze it up. Can you make a slower clock with one of these? You can. It still seems to be going roughly the same speed though. Though it does seem to be going through a little bit more. Oh, when it does. Oh gosh. Oh dear. See, this does go a bit through more now. Now it's got more. Thing, are you there, Starly?
I'm still here. I'm just working on things.
That's okay. That was probably like just nattering on and saying a load of rubbish, weren't I?
Honestly, don't know what you're saying.
It's
Sorry.
okay.
I was just going to zone out, trying to work on this.
That's alright. Yeah, so this kind of works a bit. Is this like this? Yes, it's full thing unless we extend this a bit. Hang on. I need some more repeaters. Yeah, I mean, they do seem to have jacked up some of the prices for some of the arcades, don't they? Where is my thing here? Lever. Hang on. Oh no, got it jammed on. Hang on, I've got this set up wrong. I had this set up completely wrong. Which way? That way. Yes.
Tell me their favourite colour. I don't remember.
That's not how you do levers. I don't know. I don't think I did. Let's see. So this goes slower then. Put this down. Yeah, it's still. This could kind of work. I mean, I think it still needs to be a bit slower than it is. No, I didn't kill the clock. It's still working. That's good. So now it should be going slow. Very slow. Oh, it's broken somehow. Oh, it's broken because... Hang on. This one won't push because that one's extended more. Hang on. Will this help it? This will help free things up a little bit. Okay, that's going to go too fast at the end there. Oh no. So this is moving very slow now. But maybe there's a chance. Yeah, it's slightly more of a chance to get things through now. That it's moving a bit slower. No, it stopped it dead. Okay. Yeah, you can think it's got things stuck in the middle. Oh gosh, I think it's just clumping together now. Oh no, oh gosh. Everything's going wrong. But yeah, I think maybe this is, if I do set this up, it'd be like, if your ball gets lost in the middle, then you can have another free shot, or not necessarily a free shot, but you don't have to start from the middle of the the obstacle. Yeah, it seems to be working better at a bit slower pace. Yeah, that works better. So I think this could work. Let me just turn it off though, so it's not using up a bunch of processing power. How did this end up all the way over here? Anyhow. But yeah, there's probably a few different things you could do with pistons and such like that to make them do different things. Trying to think of it at the moment. I have an idea. I don't want to encroach too much on your space when I'm doing my experiments, though.
Okay.
Let me see. So what we'd need... Apparently I'm building this one into the ground. That's fine. Ooh, there's caves and stuff all over here. Knock this across here. Like so. And then build up some other things. Yeah. I mean, maybe... I've been kind of all over the place, I feel, today. I suppose that's nothing much new, is it, though?
Particularly.
Yeah, it just barely gets to the corner there. But, I mean, obviously, as you say, like, Morbits was kind of saying that they might want to kind of play along, and so did obviously MB in the past, and Chaos and things like that. So maybe when we actually do get to the new updates, you know, where they have the big caves and all that kind of thing going on, maybe we can have some more people have a look around. What do you think?
I was thinking maybe in between, because that's not going to be till December. I was thinking maybe between now and then we can, because we've nearly finished the one that's the adventure map.
Right.
Once that's finished, because I vaguely remember we discussed having half a plan.
Yeah.
Maybe there's other people who want to play, they could play too.
Yeah. So, how do people feel about that?
There's no obligation to play or any of that.
Yeah.
If people would like to join, they're welcome. We can look at how that will look when we know who wants to play and what kind of... Some people like me prefer creative mode, although I have now joined a survival mode server.
You have?
I have. People want to know about, let me know and I can give you details. It's a LGBTQ plus friendly one.
Oh, nice.
I'm gonna be honest, I think I'm the only cis person on it.
That's fair enough. Yeah, if you send me some information, I could maybe have a...
It's designed to be like hermitcraft style kind of
Yeah.
server. A nice
Oh, no.
cottage.
Completely locked it up. Oh, of course, because when they actually fire off the... Yeah.
You'd have to do a lot worse than that to make me hate you forever.
Yeah, I mean, Sty doesn't hate me forever, and, you know...
Hate stars forever, and stars is an annoying bugger sometimes, you know.
Without getting into any self-deprecation, you know.
You just have to be you. You're lovely chaos. Heck off.
Let's try this. Flick, flick. Okay, well, this is interesting. Let's see if this works.
Bum 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 ba-dum ba-dum bum 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 bum.
It hasn't quite worked the way I want it to. Oh dear. It's just very softly nudging them to the side. I don't think there's any chance for them to get in the middle there. No, there's no chance for them to get in the middle at the moment. This deer needs to be slowed down somewhat, but then it needs to be like on... What do you call it? Oh gosh, no, that's the clock. Because the problem is if you slow it down, they're still going to cross over each other like this. So I need the more instantaneous thing, which I think I've done elsewhere, but I can't remember how it... Well... Actually... Would observers do it?
Serbs are good at that kind of thing, so possibly.
Yeah. Where did I put the observer there? Oh gosh. Oh, it's doing a double speed one. Oh, that makes sense. Oh. Oh no, completely wrong. Let's do this. Ah, this might work a bit better. I say that. It does not work the way I expect it to. Gosh. Right. That's going to go up into your area there. Hang on. The lever. Where can I pop a lever down? Here. So if we had a thing here. Yeah, that only just shoves it across. However, try something somewhere else. This will be good enough. I think you might need something else. Hang on. No, wrong one. No, wrong one. I think that's not how you spell terracotta. And then, no, not wrong one. Stop it. No, that's gonna... Okay, so that should be all right. Oh, this needs to be a sticky piston. Even though that's slime, this needs to be a sticky piston. So now we throw some things down there. There we go. That's how that works. But how to make that? In this corner. Well, I think I'll have to move a bunch of stuff here. Oh. Oops. So what we would need, oh gosh, is some terracotta around here somewhere. Yeah, I'm not quite sure how much they cost nowadays, but I'm sure they're quite a bit more than they used to be. You know, back in my day.
Last time I went to Western Supermare, I still took a bunch of trains. I'm still sure there were like ones.
Yeah, as far as I know, when I went with you, they had like the pushing machine things, but they didn't have any 1p ones.
No, I think they. Yeah, I think maybe the lowest was 2. Was it 2p or 5p?
I think it was 2p. Yeah. Trigger that. Trigger that. I don't know if I'm encroaching on your area. Sorry if I am.
If you need to take over that area up to the hotel, you can. Like, it's not the end of the world if you do.
Yeah, it's just me doing some tests and things mostly at the moment.
I can always destroy them later if I need to.
Yeah. Yeah. So I do this and this, and set up a clock again. That's not going to work there. I'll probably have to do it the other way around instead. That could work. And then crank those up like this. Pop this down. So it's gonna. Oh, am I just zero ticking them and so oh. Gosh, Minecraft.
Bullying you.
It's bullying me. I don't know if this is technically zero ticking it, but it's doing it fast enough that it's dropping it from a sticky piston. Oh gosh. So I need to slow it down somewhat. So yeah. Oh, that's the wrong way around. So yeah, if anybody, we probably should I should probably try and organise things in my Discord that if people want to join us for some Minecraft stuff, then we can figure it out in there. That sounds good.
Maybe we could just have a chat that's specifically for.
Maybe. This should work, shouldn't it? Yeah, we'll try and figure something out when we've got other things figured out and such. There we go, that's not zero ticking it now, so it's actually holding on to it. Although I don't know, because this looks like it's triggering a bit too soon. It's probably going to snatch that one if... Because what we'd want to do is this. Put this down here. And then does this actually go into there? It does. So that should... Yeah, it's swapping it over now. Which is not what I wanted. So we're probably going to have to extend this pulse out a bit because it's double firing every time, one for on and one for off on those. So we need to slow down the clock more. Which way round is it? That way. I think this is what I want. Oh, it's not activating that side of it. Oh, it's going to go on and off and double trigger it like that, isn't it? Interesting. Maybe it'll still work, though. Hang on. No. Oh, no. Stalia broke it.
No. I would offer to come help, but why didn't you come look at my arcade for a bit and have a break?
Yeah, we're at 12 hours. Not 12 hours? Gosh, that'd be a long time, wouldn't it? We're at 2 hours now. Where I'd usually cut Minecraft stuff off. I think... I don't know if I've done enough thinking today or not.
Well, why don't you come look at the arcade before we finish, and then probably finish there.
There's the boutique. There's the other shop, and oh, this is very fancy. I kind of just want to kind of go on the outside, and oh, it's a bit blank around that side. I went around that side.
Don't look out the corner yet.
Yeah, it's kind of almost like this is. You know, you'd be like in a maze here trying to get all the diamonds and stuff and things like this. It looks very nice from the front.
If you're going to have an arcade, you want it to kind of look like something exciting.
Yeah. So here we have...
I hope people quite finished on the inside, but it's getting there.
Yeah, this looks like it's mist or something like that. This one is like a cooking mama or something like that. It looks a bit like sushi. This one... And it looks a bit like Half-Life, doesn't it, really?
There you go. You can control all of them just by one button. They're like that accessible.
Which is fantastic, really. I mean, or fascinating, really. That you could do that. Oh, but yeah, it's looking very nice. I like the lily pad floor.
Yeah, I was thinking about like old arcades, like proper 80s ones. I thought we needed a proper like arcade floor.
No, if it was like a proper 80s one, it would smell like smoke, wouldn't it?
I mean, luckily, we're in Minecraft, so you can't smell it.
Yeah. But,
add some more various games to play. Might need more than just one button to play.
Yeah. I mean, on the other map, we had like a crane machine that you made, didn't we?
Yeah, I don't remember how I made that, but I'll work it out.
Yeah, but we gotta...
Might need to go back into old videos and look.
Or you can actually go across to that world, since I can't go into there, but you can.
I can't because it's got the one open at the moment.
Oh, was it not in that one then?
No, it's on the...
Oh yes, of course it is, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry. Brainy.
And then, some point behind all of these, there will be an alley, and it's going to be NB Alley.
Ah.
And you can buy certain products that would not legally be bought to this country.
Of course. Not the 100% legal versions of them.
You're totally... Hang on. Where are you?
I'm behind you. Right. Thank you. 1.17 decorations. Yeah, because Starly did a good job with some palm tree things here.
I think also these are the deep slate ores,
yes.
and I love them.
Yes, the deep slate, of course. Then we got the
Look how bright they
azaleas.
look.
Yeah. We got some azaleas. So yeah, if anybody has any ideas of what they want to do, if if MB and Morbits and Chaos want to join us on like a server or something like that, then they could let us know what kind of things they might enjoy, maybe in the Discord or something like that.
Did you want to start a new, after your stream, you can start a new chat group called Minecraft and
Maybe, yeah.
comment there.
Maybe keep it more thingy. I'll have a talk with you afterwards and we can figure out what's the best to do with that. But yeah,
Time to update the map.
keep. Yeah. Well, we shall find out. We shall figure something out and figure out what to do. As long as you can cope with a Katie being sleepy at times and.
Well, maybe having more people might make it easier to do with Katie being sleepy because there's more people to do stuff that isn't Katie.
Yeah, and that might be good if you like doing things in Minecraft, then that might be a good thing. I mean, obviously, if you've been watching the videos, you know how I am with Minecraft and stuff like that. Sometimes I do much, sometimes I don't do very much, and
Never do anything in Minecraft I've played in my life. Do you see that I have a load of fish in the sea now?
They have actual fish that are going to stay around because they've been name tagged, as you said that I should have done.
Tagged.
There
seems to be less, but
yeah. Here's my my rock pool, which has a surprising lack of any fish because I didn't name tag them.
Are your rock pools all rocks?
Well,
No sand in your rock pool.
I had a look at some pictures of rock pools, and they had rocks in it.
Oh, I didn't add the Stars request.
What was that?
Hang on, I'm going to do it now.
Where are you?
Oh, I don't know how to do
up here.
stuff like that.
The heads, they are, I don't know, because they're in the vanilla game, aren't they?
Yep.
These heads, these are just player heads, aren't they?
Yeah, so basically, if you know a player's name, you can just say, you have to technically use the commands to get it, but you can say give the head.
Yeah. So this is like somebody actually playing with this fish as their head.
Hey Katie, look up at the roof, hotel roof.
Oh my, are we making a plank? Or a big diving board, oh my. Right from the top of the...
I don't think it quite works, but...
Oh gosh. We're ready for the Olympics? Ah! Starly.
You're taking too long.
I was preparing myself, getting myself ready for the super spins and stuff like that one falling down.
Gotta do a spin. Okay, hang on. I'm gonna do a spin. Go. 1, 2, 3, and spin.
Ooh, 8 points. Let me see. Sorry, I'm working on the trackpad at the moment.
I'm using a mouse.
Yeah.
It's a bit easier.
There we go. Do a flip. Not an easy thing to do in a Minecraft. But yeah, the little beach area thing's looking okay. We're doing, we got some ideas for some mini golf stuff going on here. So if I think like as many holes will fit into this area, I don't know exactly how many that'll be, but I can try and make something for that. Because yeah, these are just basic experiments. Yeah. Sorry, cows and chickens, you're kind of part of an experiment, but not that kind of experiment, don't worry.
He's experimenting on animals. I'm shocked and appalled.
But yeah, hopefully I can maybe try to figure out how to time these things better so that they go one after the other, and then it will work. Because if I just pop this down here and start up the clock again. Puzzle house, yeah, the Minecraft map thing that Sally's doing. Oh, this got dragged along with this, fine. But yeah, the idea of this is if you've got some things, you throw them into that and it'll ping them off in a direction. Maybe I only need to do one rather than the multiple ones or whatever. I don't know. But
Adventure House more bits will be done soon.
That is good.
They've been done by now, but I've been ill.
Yeah, and then me and a Chaos and maybe anybody else who wants to join along once we've got this Minecraft thingy set up in Discord to talk about it. If other people want to join, would that work, do you think?
Yep, I mean, I say it's nearly done. It's just the last little bits and making sure the puzzles work.
Cool.
Because there's a lot of command blocks involved.
Cool. Well, yeah, I'm glad you had a lot of sleep, Starly, to help you try and feel better.
Yeah, I think really if I just had 11, I'm yawning again already. Maybe speaks and talking to you and you're yawning.
Yeah.
I feel like if I could just have 11 hours sleep every night and not have to do anything but get up and do nothing, I would be fine.
As I said, I had about 12 hours and I could have slept more, I think, but it's probably not the greatest thing to do at some point.
Too much sleep can be just as bad if you was too little.
Yeah, but I think after, as I said, on Thursday I did moving of a lot of boxes. On Friday I was a bit achy, and then yesterday it was kind of like nope, completely out of energy.
Well, the most sleepy of us all is actually Taz. I took Taz on an adventure yesterday. We went to a local ruined abbey, which is about an hour's walk from my house. And Taz came with me. And he slept, when we got back, he slept for the entire day. So I went in the morning. And then today, he's still sleepy. And him and Fidget are both fast asleep on the chair.
So yeah, at some point I have to take down this big hill here. Then I'll have a little bit more space to make some more golf course, and yeah, I think I've got some good ideas to put together to make some mini golf holes, don't you?
Yeah. Work it out.
Yeah, but I think we shall finish up with a Minecraft at the moment. Thank you very much for joining me today for things.
Thank you. And I will play with you again, hopefully next week.
Hopefully I'll be much more awake.
It won't be next week. No? I'm not around next week. The day before I'm playing D&D for the entire day. So I will not be alive enough. And I won't even be home to play.
Okay, you're getting somewhere else to play it as well.
Yeah, actually playing in person D&D.
Wow. It's not the end of the stream. I'm not quite sure how much more I'm going to be doing, but this is not quite the end of the stream at the moment. It's good to see you anyway, Ian. But you can say goodbye to Starry now, because that is the end of the Minecraft segment, at least, isn't it?
We'll still be in chat, though.
Yep. So thank you very much for joining, Sally.
Thank you for having me, and I'll speak to you all soon.
Okay, bye. Oh, there we go. Sorry, I cut off Starly a little bit there. But, so yeah, I am a sleepy Katie at the moment, as has been established and stuff like that. So I don't know how much I'm going to be doing afterwards. But I want to note, since we have had extra followers, and we have been having some real followers rather than those bots over the past few days and weeks and whatever now. We have reached the 105 followers, so we will be going on to doing, as it says in chat there, the surgery game that Cal suggested. Obviously, I will give a warning when I do it. It'll be like, this is about surgery and stuff like that. It's not a... well, I don't know exactly how in-depth it gets and stuff like that. I might not do very well at it, but it might be when I'm a little bit more awake and have a little bit more of a brain, because I think it needs some thinking about how to do the various things asking you to do. So I don't think I'm braining enough for it at the moment. But if I do it, I'll put a big warning in the title of the stream. I'll also put a big warning on screen as well, just so you know what I'm doing and whatever. But hopefully it doesn't catch anybody off guard or whatever. But it's just, I played a little bit of it. It was just like, the things you might expect, but it was just all kind of like grainy black and white because it's on the Amiga and whatever. So we can have a little bit of a go at it and let's see what it's like. But obviously I just don't want to upset or whatever anybody who isn't expecting to see that kind of thing. So when I do play it, it'll be like, as I said, in the title of the stream, and it'll be on the actual screen itself. This game is about surgery. I don't know how in depth it gets and whatever. If it gets too gross, I'm not going to be playing it anyway, because I don't really like it getting too gross. But as long as it's just pixely black and white and very hard to make out anything, then it might not be too bad. But we shall have to see. But yeah, at the moment, I was thinking of doing a demonstration, because I did mention it last time. I'm not going to be playing a lot of this, but I'm just going to be demonstrating a thing here, so don't get too excited by the noise you're about to hear. I just want to do a demonstration of a thing. I should probably change the stream title as well. So let me get that sorted out here. Very sleepy rambling, that sounds about right, doesn't it? So where am I? What am I doing? It should still be over on here. Yeah, here we go. Because I wanted to do a demonstration of a thing which people are possibly already aware of and such like that, so maybe... Where'd the rest of it go, indeed? Yeah, so we played through all of this. You went around NB for that. But if I load up... Gosh, where was... Here, like this Sand Traps version here. So I played through the whole of Half-Life 2. So, but I just wanted to do a demonstration, because that's good that you saw some of it or whatever. But what I mentioned, and what I didn't get much of a chance to demonstrate, was that if I go... I don't know if I need to do the cheats first. Yeah, I have to do the cheats first, so... SV... cheats 1, and then no clip. I should be able to fly up in the air like this. And I was saying this had like a 3D skybox, but obviously when playing the game, you don't get to really experience it, because it's very well hidden and such like that. But if you look at some of the stuff in the background over here, fly upwards, this is not like Minecraft, you have to fly differently. But you see these hills over in the background here, all around here, that's part of the 3D skybox. You can find this out if you try to fly towards them, because they fly towards this exists. You can see this exists, we can kind of fly through it and everything here as well. But if you try to fly towards like these things over here, go, oh, I'm going towards it, and then all of a sudden it will well, you can kind of see it. Oh, it's disappeared. If you go back a bit, oh, you can't see it, but look, oh, there's a map up there. So if you go back towards the map, ooh, everything pops back in and see, oh, that wasn't there before, but now it's there and whatever. And you might notice that I said this is the map up here. But if we go outside the bounds, you might notice there's this other bit down here. This is the actual 3D skybox. So if we go down to it, through here, this is the thing you're seeing in the background. So we'd be about, oh, here we go. It's a good demonstration here. We're a bit lower than it would be here. It's pretty fun, but if we get into the right kind of area, it should show us, I don't know. Here we go. So this bit here is the bit you're kind of seeing back over there. I think we're in the middle of this, but if you kind of look at the way that this is kind of laid out here, you can see this kind of goes around in like an L shape around here, and it's got this bit sticking out in the middle. So if you actually go back to the proper map over here, a turret or a smoke. Oh yes, it's much easier if you do it in like Gary's mod and things. You can obviously put down things a lot easier, but you can see this is like the L shape that goes around the end of the map here, and this is the bit that sticks out in the middle here. But yeah, how do you put things down? Do you know the commands to do that kind of thing? Because yeah, you could put down, actually, okay, it's not solid. Yeah, I don't know if it's solid either, because that bomb just went straight through it, didn't it? You can like spawn enemies and things, can't you? Is it on spawn? No. But it's server spawn? No. I don't know what the commands and stuff are. But basically, as I said, this bit is like obviously smaller if you look at it here, but they kind of like project it more outside. View if you fly up a bit here, so you can see it there. There's the bit that goes that way, and there's the owl bit that goes up that way, and there's a bit that sticks out down here as well, and it looks like it's just further away and stuff like that. On other maps you can see it a bit better and such like that, but also this gives us a chance to actually fly around and have a look at some stuff which we couldn't before on here. So this was the lighthouse map, remember? This is the person that tells us to get into the garage. NPC, create NPC. Cool, actually, no. Shush, I'm flying. Let's see if we can... Ah! Whatever happens there, it kills us. Can I still fly? No, I have to... F, indeed. So yeah, that was a kill trigger over there. Let's see if it'll actually do it here then. So what was it? You have NPC, create an NPC name. What can we do? Does anybody know any NPC names? I'm thinking of Strider, but that's way too big. You have Combine, anything? I need to know the name of them. Would Antlion work? No. No. Attempted to create, but maybe it doesn't exist. I don't know. Combine S. Okay, well, let's see if we can do this. Combine S. Attempted to create. Well, it doesn't really seem to be working for me. But thank you very much for looking those up. Get off the road, indeed. But anyhow, so the whole idea is like, this is where you come in, you come down here, you'd fight the gunships and things like that when you get to the thing up here, and then you'd kind of go through the secret exit and come down here, and you can see this is like stuff over here, and you go down this part, jump over here and stuff like that, and you come through here. But if you're in no clip, you don't get the loading zones, so then you can come through here and think, oh, this looks like fairly similar to what it was, and then, oh, this is a lot different. Because this gives you an idea of how Half-Life 2 does things. I mean, people were saying about why it took Okay. Right, okay, sorry. We might try that in a bit, but I'm doing my demonstration and talk now. But yeah, so this is obviously the end of the map and whatever, and so it just loads in basically separate maps for each area. If we try to look backwards at the previous area, that obviously doesn't exist either. You can see the cliffs just basically end here, and that. So yeah, it basically just loads in an entire map all at once and ditches the old one and whatever, which if we come down here and don't fall in the thing here we go. Oh, we're fine. Oh, I think we're fine. We're fine. And if we walk through here, it'll load. So it's basically going to unload that complete previous map and load in a new one. Which is what it's doing here. Half-Life Source. Yeah, I think Mesh. And see, now it's loaded a completely different area. And this is the one with, what was it, Laszlo in? Wasn't it over here? Laszlo!
You there! Stop where you are!
Meet
Stay
here.
on the rocks! Don't
But
step on the
Laszlo.
sand. It makes the antlions crazy. Laszlo, don't move. No.
No.
Help!
Hang on, I'll get them.
Dear God.
Oh no,
Poor
Laszlo.
The finest mind of his generation. To such an end.
Oh dear, poor Laszlo.
We were heading for the Portagon.
Anyhow,
Hoping to pick up some bug baits of these damn things.
indeed. That's all story stuff and whatever,
Leave
but
us alone.
see, where we just came from was through here, and you're like, oh, there's the lighthouse, and hang on. This looks a little different here. It looks more smooth and whatever, and then somehow there's this yellow bit that's here, and the lighthouse looks a bit, well, less than it was, really. And there's not much skybox going on here. But yeah, for some reason there's like a yellow thing. What's it say? No draw. So yeah, there's certain other things which happen here. This is actually a pretty big map that it loaded in, because you come down here, you look over here. Oh yeah, and I was wondering, is there anything over here? Because I was like hopping around and thinking like, should I try and get over there? Turns out there's nothing actually over here. What I did find out is if you do try and go over here, even if you like surf down on the rocks here. Oh, sorry, antlions. Even if you like surf down on the rocks here, it just kills you when you get to the bottom. And so yeah, here we have this part of the map as well here. We've got this physics puzzle which killed me a few times. And then there's this bit where I thought, oh, is there a way up to this? But I don't think there is. Having a look around here, it doesn't actually look like there's a way up and around to this part. You just have to use the gravity gun to pull things down, as I was doing anyway. And the antlions are following me. Hello. But yeah, we've got all this. And then you've got the bit where you like have the boss. As you can see. What's also, let's see if it does it here. Yeah, I think there we go. Interesting. I think it's kind of slightly broken now. Maybe it's because we went over that area, but it's kind of just loading in not all of it. Because obviously once you've got over there, it doesn't need the rest of the map over here. So I think it's like just unloaded it. So you have zones which say, you know, just unload previous zones and things like that. And such like that. And you can go through into the antlion, or no, the Vortigaunt camp over here. This is where you learn to use all the bug bait and stuff like that, and then you go out to past here, and then it's like, yep, this is the end of the map, and it's, yep, all all done over there. But yeah, it's interesting to just have like a fly around some of these things, just to see how they did certain things, like if you're down in here, you're like, oh, this all looks very interesting, this looks very open and expansive over there, but once you actually get around here, it's like, oh no, it's just, that's it. That's the edge of the cliffs. Yeah, you take care of them. But yeah, I just wanted to give a little demonstration of that which I was talking about, and this weird loading zone kind of thing going on here. But yeah. Let me just see if I can get that command working, which you were saying. What was it? Create, and then it was NPC and that, wasn't it? Oh, did it do it? It did do it. There we go. So if we do go back to the previous map, load, where's the previous area here? Do we still have no clip on? No, we don't have no clip on now. We have to turn that back on. And go down to that area. If the ground is solid enough... Oh, there we go. If this ground is solid enough, we should be able to... No, I think it's not solid, and so the combine won't actually be able to stand on it. Yeah, I can't see them around unless they're spawning elsewhere. I did type in the correct thing. Yeah, I did type in the correct thing. So yeah, it looks like unless they're spawning elsewhere, they can't stand on that. So we can't use that to demonstrate the thing. Because let me just check. Is it where I'm pointing that they should appear? Yeah, it's where I'm pointing they should appear. Hi! I have magical abilities. I can fly. And look at me, look at me. Woo. Can't get them from here though. A little unfair. But yeah, if you ever wonder what it looks like from the outside, here you go. The lighthouse on there. Very pretty. But, yeah, secrets of game creation and such like that. Like this has got just a big hole here, since you don't see that at all. It can just be a big hole there. But, yeah, there we go. Let's quit out of this here. What else? Where am I? Here I am. Well, that's the mini golf course and things. Let's pop over here at the moment. There was also another thing which I kind of wanted to do a demonstration of. Since I was talking previously about this music software stuff, yeah, it has a problem recognizing a certain thing. Let me try this again. Here we go, it's got set up here. That should hopefully mean then it would connect through. And if I load up... Sorry, you can't see anything at the moment. But I'm going to try and load up a thing. Which... Let me see. Well, it's supposed to be making noises. I don't know if you can hear noises on your side of things. No, you can't hear noises on your side of things. It might be... Yeah, I haven't tried setting this up before, so I don't know exactly if I just need to restart things here. So, hold on a moment. Let's see. But I'm not hearing it either, though it apparently is making noise. Which is interesting. Dang it, I'm still not going to be able to show this off. I thought it was working before, but apparently it's not. Let me find this again. Oh no, because it's going through the wrong thing, that's why. Now, hopefully. There we go, you should be able to hear this now. Yeah, I think you can hear it now. So let me actually try and capture it. Through here. We can turn off the mini golf things here. And add in a window capture. So I'll be with everybody in just a moment. Okay, you should be able to see that. That might be a little bit big on the screen. This is a fun thing. This is a thing, as you can see at the top here, called Reactor. We don't need the sides of this at the moment, though, so we can just... Oh, actually... Oh, hang on, wait a minute. I'm getting this, here we go. We can cut these sides off and cut the top off to show you what I'm actually trying to show you, which is this here. It might be a little bit big on the screen, but never mind. And I can bring the chat up properly again now. Where is the actual window? Here it is. If I show everything. There we go. Oh, hello. Hello, Straw there. What is Starly saying can do for? Just when the teleporter to point to the map and turn on certain scenery, yes. I don't know what the can do is for, Starly. I may have said something and completely forgot. Can you hear sound? Oh, right, okay, cool. Thank you. But yeah, this is the thing that I'm going to show. And this is good because it's kind of more visual, which obviously helps to do some explanations of things. So this is the thing, it does sounds. But what might be good to start off with is just like an initialized patch. Where is an initialized patch? Here we go. And let's turn the oscillator classic. Gosh, how do I use this again? That's the actual waveform. Here we go. So I just wanted to demonstrate some synthesizer basics because I'm probably going to be talking about synths and things now that I can actually show some things off and such like that. You can see the pointer, that's good. Now, so basically we've got a simple kind of a synthesizer thing going on at the moment here. Yeah, it should be mostly simple here. So this is your waveform. This is what's playing multiple times per second, so you can hear this noise. And obviously, when I push the higher keys, it just plays this back faster. If I push the lower keys, it plays it back slower. I assume that everybody understands this kind of concept of how this works. If you don't, please say. I might try to explain it a little bit more. But basically, this waveform is playing so many times per second to be able to hear the different pitches that you can hear now. And we can change this waveform here to a square wave, which sounds different to this one over here. And there's various things you can do. You can change the pulse width here to change the shape of the wave. To do various things like that. And obviously, as you can see here, when changing this, it changes between this wave and this wave. If you just kind of hold down the button and change it like this, it'll change between those two. Let's keep it as the sawtooth wave. You can probably see why it's called sawtooth here, because it looks like the teeth of a saw. And unsurprisingly, this is called a square wave. So we've got the sawtooth, and this is just a basic thing. I'm pushing the buttons, and it's making noise. And what we have down here is an amplitude envelope, and this is kind of like as I said, I like this one to describe things because it actually shows pictures of what's going on here. And what we have is an attack, decay, and a sustain. If we change the attack, you can see at the start of this, or the attack of the note, it changes the shape of it. So you can either have it going quickly, or you can have it go slightly more over time. So it kind of fades in more slowly. And here it goes in more quickly. The sustain value is this value. So basically, if you hold down the button, what loudness does it stay at? So it can be like a high volume like this, or a low volume like this, or it can just basically be nothing. And this gives us an ample time now to explain what the decay here does. It changes, well, the decay from when you hit that maximum peak here down to the sustain value, which at the moment is 0. So if we have that right down here, you can hardly hear anything because it's going up so fast and dropping so fast. You can't hear anything. We spread it out a little bit more. It's dropping a little slower. We turn it all the way to the end here. It's taking a longer time to go back down. We change it to like a more middle tone here. Can sound more like a plucked or hit instrument. And then if we like put this up a little bit more, it can sound like more like a plucked instrument. So you pluck it at the start, and then it rings out. And also on this particular one, there's not a specific release thing, because you can see obviously after you let go of the key, it has to go from that sustain value down to 0. But on some synths and things, it'll have like an actual release, so you can do it separately from the decay. But this one is like still in line with the decay. So if we do this and release the key, it'll fade out more slowly. If we do it this way, it'll do it quicker. So these are your basic things for making just basic tones and whatever, but we can do some other things like use a filter. We need to turn the filter on before it does anything, and what this does is it changes like the EQ. You can hear it's kind of like muffled the sound a bit here from here, and this is like the actual frequency that it cuts at. You can see underneath it displays the frequency. So what we can do is kind of like hold the button down and move it around. To do different things like this. But obviously doing that, manually is a bit of a thing. So we have what's also known as like the LFOs down here, and this is basically gets a wave like this, and what we need to do is route it to the right place. So ignore this at the moment. This is a bit more technical. But this is basically going to, if you turn the rate down on this, what you'll notice around this thing here, you can see it's going backwards and forwards and backwards and forwards. This is basically following the sine wave, and it's like making it go around here. Oh, there's an alarm going off. If you have your tablet with you, Starly, that's your alarm. But basically this is saying it's turning this up and down, following the pattern of this sine wave here. You can change the type of wave here to like more of a square wave here, so you can see here it's like maximum, then it jumps down to the minimum, and you can see that's what it's doing here. It's maximum, then jumps to the minimum, backwards and forwards here. And if we change it more to this sawtooth wave, you can see it's kind of starts at the maximum, falls down to the minimum, then jumps back up to the maximum, which is what it's doing here. Maximum down to the minimum, then jumps back up. There we go. And this is like more of just a triangle wave, which makes it bounce backwards and forwards, like here. And then the sine wave, it's a bit like the triangle wave, but it does a bit smoother. So now, obviously, this is controlling that frequency cutoff, which we had before. So if you hold down the button, can tell how much it's doing it, but this is kind of affecting it a bit too much, because you can kind of hear it, then you can not hear it. So once again, in this routing thing, we can change it so it doesn't affect it too much, so it'll only do like a bit of it. So, but yeah, the routing thing is like route this to that thing, and you can do it with a lot of different things, but it looks a bit more complicated. But anyway, so we've got this waveform affecting the cutoff frequency of the synth here. And then we can change the frequency of that. So actually can change the waveform, as I said. I'll keep on the sign at the moment though. So we see different ways we can affect the sound and stuff like this. There's also this resonance control, which kind of affects how much you hear the peak of the frequency. So let me just play around with that. You'll be able to hear what that sounds like. There's also this feedback command, which gets the output and puts it back into the input, obviously creating feedback, as you can imagine. And this sounds like this if you change it. It's kind of subtle there, but if you turn the resonance, you might be able to hear it a bit more. Yeah, you can turn that down. So yeah, and you can basically do some other things to it as well. This kind of will change. This will do a ring modulation thing on it, which if we affect the pitch or the mix of it, here we go. Does fancy things. I also like looking at the graph here because it makes it look interesting. Even if you don't know what it's doing musically, it's interesting to look at the patterns. You can do a frequency modulation instead. Oh, just a sine modulation. Well, it's just sine folding, it looks like, which adds a kind of distortion into it. You can see by taking the peaks here, and then if you push it certain far enough, it like bends it back on itself and keeps doing that. And there's I'll sample and hold. To make it sound like it's like more lo-fi, because it's only like holding the values at a certain thing. But this is like more complicated. The basic things are your oscillator. This tells you what the basic note is that you're playing. There's the amplitude envelope, which tells you like how the volume is affected over time, and then the filter thing here, which, as you can see, is having that wow 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 kind of effect on it, caused by this LFO over here. There's other bits and pieces on here, as I said, which I could look into, but then it might oh, if you do it fast. Makes even more interesting noises. But yeah, so this is like the basic thing, which I said I like because it gives you an actual picture of what's happening. And stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully, if I talk about some synthesizers and things in the future, you'll have more of an idea of what I'm talking about with certain things here. Like, for instance, if we had a look now at this one, which is going to be like off the screen and stuff like that. So let me adjust things here. This one is based on an actual physical synthesizer, and one called the Mini Moog. You don't need the top parts here. Let's put that, I don't know, let's put that here. It's kind of in the way of the chat at the moment, but you don't necessarily need to see everything. Let me move that down. There we go, we can put it down to roughly about there. So you don't need to see the top part, it's just the name of the synthesizer, which is Monark. But it's based on a synthesizer called the Mini Moog, and this particular preset it's on at the moment sounds like this. Hopefully that's not too loud. But yeah, if we go back to the like a basic kind of thing, is in user initialize. So this is the basic kind of thing. Once again, you've got your oscillators here, which kind of do the different waveforms. This is the square wave. This is the sawtooth wave, which we had before, but here on we've got a few different options or whatever. We'll keep it on the square at the moment. And we've got your filters over here, so you can like change the cutoff. And the resonance, so we could on the other one. But what we can also do is just set up this third oscillator here to be modulating this, as we had before. Hang on, how does this work? No, it has to be on here. No, we have to turn the modulation up here. Here we go. There we go, this is the way it works. And here's your attack, decay, sustain things again. So it's taking a long time to come in. Less time to come in. You can turn the sustain down. And the decay up so we can get a little bit further down. A little kind of more mality noises. And whatever, but if we turn the sustain up again, we can do this. There's a few other things you can twist it around here as well. One of the interesting things you can do, if we turn off this thing here, and turn the resonance down, there we go. What we can do is we can feed in this oscillator into this oscillator instead, which affects the pitch. And we can change the amount by this. We've also got a pitch bend here if we want. But yeah, so that can affect this. Which is a lot of fun. But another thing you can do is change this, instead of just like a low frequency oscillator, going up, down like that. You can make it go faster, which gets interesting things happening if you do that. You can change it to the same type of waveform as you've got at the top here. So you can play some very interesting things and make some very interesting noises. this again. Let's do that kind of interesting thing, or maybe something like this. Which is harder to kind of play if I do this instead. And this can actually track the keys, so play more in tune with this one. To give a different kind of sound. But yeah, lots of things you can do. So if you don't want that kind of happening, you can turn that off, and you can just bring in a different oscillator instead, doing something else, like this. Detune it slightly. This one seemed to work quite well. Then you can actually add in the cut-off things as well. Turn this back to a low frequency oscillator to modulate this. So yeah, there's obviously a lot of these knobs and things I haven't turned at the moment, which can do a lot of other interesting things, like we can make noise. Change kind of type of noise here. You can tune different notes to sound like different instruments. Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with this. And obviously there are limits to what you can do. But yeah, you can have a good play around. This can track the keys, because otherwise it doesn't necessarily sound the best. You can change the glide time between the notes. Make it longer. Or shorter. It's a lot of fun just to play around with all these different things. You've also got a feedback things here as well. To really add some kind of dirt into the thing. You can even overload it here as well. I think I had a more interesting kind of character when it's down here. Or something like that. Yeah, you can do interesting things with this. You can have the key tracking and you can have the modulator on. But yeah, so there's the other dials which can do other things. You can program them to different things, like what we've got with the presets here. Like we can look into just any of these really. Like this one's called Fluke. So fit some kinds of music. Oh gosh, I've gone into there we go. What's this one? Horsey sounds like this. But yeah, you can just flick through all the different presets and see what they all. This one's called Half-Life. See, this is getting the kind of plucked sound, or plunky sound as it's called. It's called plunked, because this is down low and this is up higher. We change this. It's kind of, I think it's also affecting the, yeah, because it's affecting this as well. There we go. So we have an envelope on the filter as well as on the volume. That can change things around. Interesting sound. Because yeah, the filter's on very quickly here. That's why you got the click at the start. If we change this. It sounds a bit like that. These are interesting ones. Because I think we've got some of this oscillator going into the modulation of both of these things, so we took that out. It would just sound like this. No, it still does have an effect on it. Actually, it doesn't seem to actually be modulating it all that much from what I can tell. And that's probably because it's down low. Doesn't seem to change things too much though. But if we turn these other ones off. There we go. Interesting though, it's modulating this frequency. You should be able to hear it if I bring this in. Yeah. If that's too low. There's a change there. This one's just like a little bit higher up here. Do the lower notes. That's what that one's adding there. Ooh, that's interesting. So we get rid of that one. That's adding that kind of that to it. Wow, wow, wow. I think it's because of this. Turn that down to here. Yeah. Make a different kind of noise. That's not changing it too much because I think it's going up very... so yeah, you got these kind of things. So you can get some interesting... Ooh. Interesting sounds out of this. Oops, I'm pressing the wrong buttons. Hang on. Very crunchy. Where is that mostly coming from? Mostly coming from this one. That's probably because it's interacting with one of these other ones. Yeah, these two interacting together make a very crunchy kind of noise. See, that one on its own is just like that. This one on its own is just like this, but two of them together. That's probably because of the tuning here. So when they're more in tune, they sound like that, but... that probably crunches against this one as well. Ooh, interestingly. Oh, that was just making a click-click sound. Oh, it's on the low, that's why. Yeah. Which you can kind of hear in the full thing. But not very easily. Anyhow. This is what this is for. Something like this. Yeah. Ooh. It's an interesting one. What's he doing? Something with the filters over here. I think it's just because it's a particular frequency, and we can change the type of filter we've got as well. And that's helping the sound of it. And the resonance. But yeah, that's making some effects on there. Ooh. Yeah, you can kind of make chords and things with these things as well. So we take those one out. Oh, that's very low. So that's just that. Probably a fifth or something above, I don't know exactly. I'm not very good at hearing intervals by ear. And then this one is even higher. So it just makes that kind of chord. There. Ooh. It's interesting. If I just tap the key, it does all this. Is that because of the feedback here? No, it's not causing it. It's all going to be on that one mostly. It's got something to do with this over here. Taking a long time to decay, maybe that's why it's... Yeah. It's mainly the decay time on here. Ooh. It's got a lot of noise in this. You turn the noise out. Oh, it's got some more of the feedback affecting it as well. So we take the feedback and the noise out. The noise does a little bit, but it's mostly the feedback that makes that noise. And it's probably because of this in here. No, maybe not. But yeah, so as you can imagine, there's a lot you can look into and try and make different sounds and things out of this kind of thing. But I'm still tired today. And we did a little bit of Minecraft. We did a little bit of playing with some synthesizers and things like that, it's a good fun that I can do that now and play around and do various music bits and pieces and such like that. But I think to give myself, some rest and stuff. I mean, I said I slept for a long time, but I need a rest from having a rest, Anyway, it's probably best that I don't go for the full 4 hours and such like that. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look at some various things today. I'll find a song to play us out on. I assume we're getting a chaos tomorrow. I haven't seen chaos around in the chat at the moment, but I assume we've got a chaos tomorrow. Thank you very much, Dally. Yeah, I assume we've got a chaos tomorrow, so please follow the link for chaos in there. Do you know if Stars will be doing stuff tomorrow, Sally? Because if so, there's Stars, there's this thing there. Thank you very much, Morbits. And Starly, you might be doing stuff on Tuesday as well. Have you made your mind upon that, Starly? Oh, you said there's something weird, didn't you? Yeah, and she'll be trying out which challenge she has. And you too, you said you had something interesting or cursed or something to show, didn't you? Cursed, yes. So please follow Starly for something interesting, I imagine, but cursed on Tuesday there. I should be back on Wednesday. We should be looking at some more Amiga stuff. Well, I think I should be okay by then. It'll be another no cam one because I've got my facial hair removal things the next day. But we'll be having a look at some stuff here. Let me see. Yeah, I don't know what some of this stuff is that's on here. So we will find out together what, not normally cursed, but Tuesday will be, yes. Because last time I was looking through some books and stuff, which was some older books, which was interesting. But yeah, so thank you all for turning up today. I'd say sorry for the low energy stream, but this kind of is what's going to happen occasionally because it's just the nature of the condition that I have. If I have to move more things which are heavy and big and whatever, then it's likely to affect me for a few days, like it has here. But I should be hopefully getting some energy back from now. So Wednesday I should have some more and such like that. But yeah, as I say, before I waffle myself into oblivion, thank you very much for turning up, everybody, this time. And, of course, I shall see you next time. Bye-bye.